Am I really blurry to you, Kurtis?
No,
A little bit. But we're
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is James with the Movement of Sustainable Salons. I'm obviously here with my co-host with the most, Kurtis and Chantelle from Design House Salon. What's happening, guys? How you doing?
Good morning.
Hey guys.
So this is episode number what, Kurtis? 6?
Oh, good question. Yeah, I think we're up to 6. We did a couple others that we haven't released yet. So,
Well, we want to welcome everybody back. Welcome to what we think is episode number 6 of the Movement of Sustainable Salons. For those of you that are joining us for the first time, this is kind of a new format, something that we had all come up with after winning the Eco Salon Award in London. And, we've been using Blab as a format to get people on and to talk about, everyday salon problems, some new and interesting products and things that may be coming out in the Davines world. And, we're just really excited. I think things have been moving along pretty well. If you haven't seen us before, please check us out at thesalonmovement.com. Any of our past calls and recordings are up there live for you. For those of you that are new to Blab, make sure I'm doing this the right way. If anybody wants to jump on a call, definitely you're welcome to jump in with us. You'll have your mute button there when you're on. You have your props buttons over here. So if anybody says anything that you even just like a teeny bit, you're more than welcome to give us some props. We always appreciate hard work. Thank you, Chantelle. But let's get started. I mean, it's a big month upcoming. Sustainable Beauty Month now, up from Sustainable Beauty Day and Sustainable Beauty Week. And we really wanted to focus on that particular component because it's sort of like the Davines holiday of what they do, especially here in the North America region. But what are you guys thinking today? How are you feeling about Sustainable Beauty Month coming up?
Sorry, Kurtis. I think it's great. We personally, this will be our 4th annual Sustainable Beauty Month, and we've had amazing success with it in years past. I can't tell you how great it's been, especially as a new business, to gain new clients and so forth. And we'll go into more detail about that. But it is something that obviously is generating some buzz with some new Davines salons. We've noticed a few comments on the Facebook page from Davines North America. People are saying, hey, I'm a Davines salon. How can I get involved? What does this look like? What does this mean? So today I thought we could just dive right into it and explore what's worked for us in the past, what we're doing this year, and what the whole event is about in general.
That's awesome. I think maybe it's appropriate, Kurtis, if you want to. Now, we had a bunch of new members since our last call live from the International Beauty Show in New York. But anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, let's take a look. We had lots of members join up. So we've got some April. All right.
Wait, I should precursor and say that usually my hair assistant and wife Angela is with us on these calls, but she's out on a modeling shoot today, so she's unable to make it with us. But I'm using her mug in her honor. I'm definitely the number one dad. Sorry, Kurtis, but I'm definitely not the number one mom. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I don't know if you can read mine.
That's right. Just the girl.
So far, so good. Girl boss.
That's right.
Yeah, so we've had April from Bliss Salon out in Ontario, Fallon Wells from Let 'em Have It Salon in Denver, in the United States, Dana Cakebread from Portland at Gossamer Salon, Maxine Libers from Pensacola, Florida, Aero Salon and Spa. We also have Anna Walker from Body to Soul, that's out in Virginia, and Samuel Hepworth from Samuel David Hairdressing out from Bristol in the UK, Julie Tarver from Tarver Hill Salon in Austin, Charles Wren from The Hive in LA, CJ Foots from Shelter Salon in Kansas, Rachel Kennedy from, I don't know if I pronounced it right, Grown from Lancashire, UK, my old stopping grounds just after high school.
Nice.
Stefan Wake from Focus in Illinois, Lisanne Farello from Salon Deschamps in Nevada, and Jamie Bushman from the Circle Salon in Chicago, and 2 more, Helen Button from Charisma in Wales, UK, and Casey Lewis from the Willow Room Salon in Lakewood, Iowa.
Nice, that's awesome.
Ohio, sorry.
It's nice to see that the movement's spreading out. I definitely want to point out 2 people that were on Kurtis's list, but Jamie over at Circle Salon in Chicago. She's also one of the Eco Salon winners of the past, so definitely happy to have Jamie as part of the movement. And Charles over at the Hive in LA. I feel really bad. We were so busy with the Worldwide Hair Tour. They have a really funky salon, and obviously being from the Beehive, we like our family and keep things in the Hive there. But definitely have a funky space. They have 2 locations out there in the California area in LA. And we really wanted to get out to see them. But maybe next time we're out there, guys, we could go out there because they have some pretty cool design aspects that I'd love to steal and bring back to our salon.
Yeah, absolutely. And for all the salons that are going to watch this on the replay or going to join us throughout the call, welcome to the movement. And we hope that you guys really enjoy this information that we have for you with regards to Sustainable Beauty Month, because there's going to be a lot of questions. Noticed a lot of emails coming up, lots of social media buzz about people wondering what's happening because there hasn't been a lot of information from Davines yet. So we're taking this opportunity to kind of be the first one to really kind of punch this out and get it out for people to know what's happening. And we've got our own events scheduled, so we'll let you know about those. Some of the stuff that we've done in the past, some stuff that Davines has recommended for salons to do in past years, and just have a great show.
That's good, and I think that's a really good point. This year with our event, it'll be our 5th year. We focus ours around Earth Week and had tied in the whole Sustainable Beauty Month aspect of it. We actually did our very first Earth Week event. We were only open 2 months, and we started, and then in those days, that's when North America did Sustainable Beauty Day in October, and then eventually they merged them, which I thought was a great thing. It's really hard. I know we're both focused from salon perspectives. We're both very focused on the eco aspect. So there were things that seemed to make sense to us to do these types of events. But I can imagine for a lot of salon owners out there that are either trying to generate funds to donate to the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation or anything else, that sometimes it's a little difficult to just think of what's something that's going to work, what's something that's going to resonate with your clientele. Ease of use obviously is a big thing. A lot of times, it's hard enough to run a day-to-day operation of a salon, let alone jump in and have a whole charity-based project in there. But you guys have a pretty exciting event planned this year. Why don't you tell everybody about it? Because I'm loving it.
Do you want me to give a little bit of background on Sustainable Beauty Day before we dive
Yeah, go ahead, Chantelle.
Okay, great. So in this April is really unique because Davines has decided to create a focus on Sustainable Beauty Month versus in years past where it's been Sustainable Beauty Day, then it turned into Sustainable Beauty Week, and now it's Sustainable Beauty Month. So they basically wanted to create synergies between businesses and the environment and find out how can we reach out to Davines salons worldwide and encourage them to do so. So the first Sustainable Beauty Day was held in Italy, then the US and Canada and France. So it's been a few years now that the US and Canada has just been absolutely killing it in the fundraising department. I think it's really incredible. About 80 salons all together across Canada and the US in the last couple of years have generated almost $60,000-$70,000 per year to plant trees for the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation. So the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation goes to impoverished villages all across the world and plants trees for them to provide fruit and food for the community, as well as create some education for them around doing so. So it's been touching a lot of lives worldwide, and I think that's pretty incredible that all of us together individually doing this one little thing in our community is affecting so many people, which is really amazing about Davines, and I think which is what they do all the time, as we see at the Worldwide Hair Tour, is they encourage people around them to do amazing things all over, and whatever that looks like to you as an individual, go ahead and do it this month, because that is why they've created a month focus versus a day focus. So in the past, Davines was asking salons to open up on a day they're closed, say a Sunday or a Monday, or if you're open, hopefully that you're able to close, and donate services, all by donation, to go to the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation. So, for example, a cut-a-thon. Maybe you're opening up your salon to do haircuts all day for $15, $20, $25 each, and then you're donating those funds. Or maybe you can introduce some spa services, some manicures. For us personally, what worked really well is a silent auction, plus the cut-a-thon. Plus, I've been lucky to have some people to do manicures on staff. So we ongoing generated, I would say, about $2,000 to $3,000, which is pretty incredible for a team of 4 people to open up their space and their time to give back to this really great cause. So the other thing I just wanted to quickly touch on too, and we can talk more about if you guys want, is how incredible the silent auction is for your community, because here we are reaching out to our community to do the silent auction, and it allowed us to get our foot in the door to businesses that we didn't know, especially as a new business ourselves. To shake hands and make face with these people, introduce ourselves, say, hey, this is this great event we're doing. We're offering you an opportunity to be part of it. And in thank you, we would send them a thank you letter, give them a $20 gift card to come into the salon for them and their staff. Boom, now all of a sudden we've got them and their staff coming into the salon. Plus, we're also generating new clients from the event itself. And I must say, we did get a lot of new clients. I still have clients today that were part of our first Sustainable Beauty Month. So that's really incredible to be able to use this as a marketing tool. Not to mention, with this marketing tool, you're able to do a lot of free social media and free advertising. Guys, this isn't just about closing your salon and missing out on some money and thinking of it like, oh man, how are we going to pull this whole thing together? This is a really exciting opportunity to get free advertising from TV, radio. Maybe you have a local paper or a small coffee shop paper that free events going on around town. This is hugely beneficial for us getting our name out there in the first couple of years. So that was really successful for us. But
yeah, I think let's talk about the silent auction, because that's a good thing to think. I would say that we also doubled our donations that way.
Right.
We had a lot. We just from doing the cuts and everything else, it's great, and just doing that is fantastic. But silent auction is a big increase.
Yeah. Like you said, it's double. So what we brought in for haircuts, 4 or 5 stylists working for 6 hours ongoing, the silent auction brought in just the same. So.
Yeah, and we also were able to feature other businesses that were eco-friendly.
Right. Yeah, hugely beneficial for them and for us, right? It shows that we're part of our community. It allows them to get their name out. It's a little bit more interactive while people are waiting for their haircut. Because, of course, cut-a-thon should be first come, first serve. It really does just work better that way. So you have people coming into your business, standing around going, hey, well, how's it going? Make sure you have a host up at the front end. They're taking a list of the people that came in. I usually hand them a menu, say, hey, this is what we have going on today. Manicures and haircuts and silent auction. We've got some free refreshments over there. Walk around, make yourself at home and enjoy the surroundings. And it gives them a chance to check out our product line and walk around the silent auction. So a host is extremely important. It's way too busy not to do so, but first come, first serve is the best kind of setup for that. I just wanted to say too about the silent auction. Make sure you're talking to your local distributor, and they will definitely be helping you out with some packages. Give away a draw. Maybe it's full of Davness and some of other eco-friendly tips that you like to give out. Package that together, auction that off as one of your big ticket items, and as well as little things like, for example, we did a liter bottle of New Pack one year, and that was gifted to us by our distributor, and we auctioned that off. But what we did is we made everybody put a toonie in order to put their name in the draw to potentially win this New Pack. So I think that bottle, my memory, if it serves me right, I think it was at least $40 we generated for that thing of new because it was kind of a fun thing for people to do. So yeah, there's lots of little silent auction items that you can have fun with that are fun for your guests too, and then they look forward to it next year.
Yeah, I would mention to I know obviously we're all throughout North America.
It's a bit hard to hear you, James.
Let's see.
Kurtis, can you hear him?
No,
How's that?
that's better.
Much better. Okay. What I would say is I know we have people from all over North America and from other places that are with us. Check your state and local rules in terms of silent auctions. I know that here in New Jersey, a silent auction constitutes a raffle. So you actually need to get a license from the state. And yeah, believe it or not, you'll have some people because of other events that we did a Halloween event this year for a charity, and we had a silent auction. We held it at a movie theater. So we had signed movie posters that someone was using as a silent auction. And we actually had complaints come across that they wanted to make sure that we had the raffle license for the state. We did, but good thing, because it's just, here it is for a charity for foster kids, and it's something really cool. I mean, how hard is it to get like a signed movie poster or something really fun? And inevitably you're going to get someone that'll go back and complain about it. So just make sure you check those things out. There's ways, I don't want to say there's ways around it, but if it's a donation with the name dropped in a hat, it constitutes things different than an actual raffle. But it's kind of a shame that you're going to have people that are always going to go after things like that. But just make sure, just to protect yourselves, just to be on the safe side.
Good to know.
Yeah, that's a good point, James. I think that whenever you're doing events, there are some things to take care of for administratively that can sometimes take the passion away from what you're trying to accomplish. But work with other salons that are doing similar things. You have other Davina salons at your disposal, hopefully. Your reps from your distributors. Send us a message. Send it to the info@salonmovement.com. We'd love to take a look at your idea and maybe help you out trying to find some ways, I want to say, around it, but different things that people have tried.
So maybe even if it's simple as, how do I write up a silent auction request to ask people in my community, or how do I thank them, or what is the vocabulary I should use when doing this? It's definitely something we can help you out with.
Yeah, I think those are all really important things too. I mean, it's not our first rodeo in terms of doing these events. Our collective, our little group, we do a bunch of really fun things at this point in terms of celebrating Sustainable Beauty Month. So, you can go small, you can go large. Whatever it is, it's something that's impactful, not only for Fruit Tree Planting Foundation. It's also worth noting that this year, Davinas had mentioned that if there's another charity that you have an affinity towards, that you want to generate funds for, that they were okay with that, and they were championing that as well. Whatever it might be. I mean, we're here as a resource, and that's one of the best parts about the movement is hopefully the salons and stylists and distributors that are involved. We're here to help you be a voice as well. I know typically it's really difficult to get your distributor to give you anything for free. But
really?
Well,
I feel blessed. I think our distributor, if I could shout out to West Coast Beauty, because they have been incredible for each one of our events. That's actually a great thing. And it's something worth noting. I mean, I always say on my end, because I'm more of a nuts and bolts guy, is working up some type of proposal. I'll give you an example. This year for our event, we have a very large media company that's local to us that runs a bunch of the local papers. They run a big paper that's for most of northern New Jersey, as well as an Upright magazine. And in lieu of them donating to the event, we're going to market them as the media sponsor, and they're going to go ahead and put us in all of these papers without me having to do all the legwork. Because, in these towns here, sometimes, one little newspaper locally where you'd have your kids who won the spelling bee, the police blotter, those things, there's 3 towns in each one, but we might be surrounded by 30 towns. So just to contact those 10 separate local papers, plus the large local paper, plus the magazine, it was sort of a found little gem to know that if I made the media sponsor, that would be in exchange. So they'd go on all of our posters and banners that we put out in the universe, and they would go ahead and take care of the marketing and promotion on that end, which, to be honest with you, is worth volumes, which I'm sure everybody knows how expensive it is to put ads out there. It was almost better than the donation just to have, access to 25 separate advertisements that basically cost us nothing, which is great. Yeah, I think that's something that a couple of salons might feel not really recognize how powerful that is, because they look at the event as, oh, I have to close for a day, or oh my God, I have to get all my staff to come in for a day off, donate 6 hours of their time and do all this. And it can be a very overwhelming thought, especially if you've never done it before. But like you said, like, this is extremely valuable stuff. I like, how could you not take free advertising and the love and the feeling you get from giving back to your community anyways by connecting all these people? It's fantastic.
No, and that's good. You touched on a really good point too about the staff donating their time. We're really lucky. Our staff completely buys in to mostly my crazy ideas. But some of the salons out there, and if there's stylists that are out there, and your owners or your managers want to do something like this, whether it's this particular charity or any other ones, it definitely benefits you as a salon to be able to get behind a cause together. It's good team building and bonding for you to do it. I know a few of the people that are going to be at our Earth Week event this year for Sustainable Beauty Month. They were having issues with their staff in terms of donating their time and things. And we do a really fun event. I mean, we'll talk about it later, but it's a shame. I hope you guys understand how hard your owners and managers work to try to get new clients to come into the salon and try to spend advertising dollars wisely and still keep that balance in terms of making sure there's products on the shelves and everybody's getting paid on time and things. So, when it's you think of it, it's 6 hours or 4 hours, depending on what type of event you're going to run, whether it's a cut-a-thon or not. It's like, I would have to think on my end, based on the type of salon we are, that if someone on my staff wasn't willing to donate the time for a great cause, that I would almost have to question whether they were the right fit for us. I never have to question that with our staff. I know a lot of them are on here, so I'm not brown nosing you guys. We definitely appreciate it, but I'd have to question their involvement in what the greater good of what we're trying to accomplish is. And, so I hope you stylists that are out there are looking at it and saying, hey, you know what? These are really cool things, especially this year with being able to add in your own charity. It's just, listen, it's a team dynamic thing. Hopefully we can give you guys some tips to make it a lot of fun. And that's the key. It's like fun, charity, raise money. You really have all the angles in there. So it could be something really exciting and hopefully build some new clients.
Well, and it can create a lot of conversation behind the chair leading up to it and after it as well. So now you're having, amazing conversations with your clients. This also gives your clients something to tell their friends about. Hey, that salon I've been telling you to go into? This is what they're up to this month. Like, they're always doing something in the community. They're involved in this way yet again. And it creates a buzz behind your chair without you even having to do anything other than, having a conversation with your clients about it. Whether they come to the event or not, it will definitely benefit you down the road.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think it's really good to mention, too, that there are options for other sustainable partners to get involved as well, like Green Circle Salons. They're a good resource, too, to be able to get some information from with regards to connecting with your community and using, types of different dynamic communication methods to be able to promote your green events. And maybe they'll do something for you for silent auction item or something like that. But it always helps to just ask.
Yeah, I think so. Why don't you guys talk a little bit? You have a really fun event planned this year. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your event and and the setup for it?
Well, we took a lot of notes out of your book, James, because you were the kind of front runner with regards to large events for this. So we tried to step up to the plate and do something different. We were really excited about the fact that with the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation in the past, it was amazing. We really loved that organization, and we hope to support them again in the future in other ways. But what we did like that Davines opened it up to be able to allow for us to connect with the local community, and especially local events that are local nonprofit and charity events and organizations within the community. We chose to celebrate the connection between holistic health and the food in an eco district and stuff like that. So with all the slow food movement type products and ingredients in the shampoos and conditioners, we thought that connecting it with food would be really fun. So we decided to do a fundraiser called Well Fed Beauty. And so Fed is a local organization, it's nonprofit. It's done by Synergy Sustainable Institute. And their vision is, I remember this, is to create a district in downtown Victoria that celebrates food and sustainability. And also by just fostering community spaces and showcasing restaurants committed to like reducing their ecological footprint and just increasing food awareness and community engagement. And so we thought it was a really good fit with regards to holistic beauty and just beauty from the inside out. Things like eating for health.
Yeah, I love that, man. And, you know, hopefully on one of these calls, we can focus a little more on the slow food component from the essentials line. But that was one of my favorite things about, you know, what you guys were doing this year with the Well Fed program. I think that's, you know, for those of you that don't know too much about slow food in general, it's sort of like the opposite of fast food, right? So it's the sitting down, breaking bread, having conversations over food. And, you know, it's great that you can get local businesses involved, number one. If they're obviously part of some type of farmers market collective or, you know, something eco, it's even better. But I think that's a lot of things. You know, obviously Davinus being an Italian company, the food component's always a big thing. But, you know, there's just something so nice about being able to sit down and have and share a meal with someone. And, you know, it's always good when there's cocktails too. But, you know, it just has a whole different feel to it in terms of the nourishment, I guess you would say. And I think I probably stole that line from Kurtis at some point. But that's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's a fellowship idea. So the event is going to be on April the 7th, and it's going to be at the Bateman Center, which is a beautiful gallery in Victoria, British Columbia. So we're going to have food, music, and a beauty component. And we've got some of the Food Eco District members that are going to be doing food stations, including, I'll do some shout outs now, Zambries, the a.k.a. Organics, Be Love, The Village, and Habit Coffee. And we also have some beverages sponsored by Cultured Kombucha and Hoyne Brewery here in Victoria, which is a local craft brewery. And other sponsors, we've got the Young Entrepreneur Society, which I am a director on. It's a local nonprofit organization that does development of entrepreneurship, you know, events and activities and education.
That's really
and
cool.
So we're going to have a 90-person event, and we're going to have some bands and some food and some drinks and do a silent auction and some models.
It's cool.
What did you say, Chantelle?
This is your first event, right? This is the first year for this?
Yeah, it's the first annual.
Yeah, that's really exciting.
We're going to do a really big event next year.
That's really exciting. Now, I think, you know, I think it adds something. Obviously, you guys have done a great job with Sustainable Beauty Week, you know, and day prior. You know, the cut-a-thon thing is, depending on where you are location-wise, you know, our very first year we did the cut-a-thon. It was interesting, we'll say. You know, free haircuts bring in a lot of different all walks of life, I guess. So the
free?
Yeah.
You mean cheap haircuts?
Cheap haircuts. You know, what we had done our first year, though, is, you know, we're not a big salon. So we're a 6-chair salon. At that point, our first Sustainable Beauty Day, we were only open for, you know, 6 or 7 months at that point. So we contacted one of our local beauty schools, and we made an event out of it. So they sent us the staff of their senior floor. So we took 10 people on just for the day. You know, we introduced them to our salon and some of the things. They were all licensed enough to wash hair and things like that. So they got credit hours for the day to come in. We got the extra hands on the floor. So I was able to, you know, have regular staff members that really understood what we did actually host. You know, we did have some of their teachers and things that hadn't been in the regular salon behind the chair in a long time that were able to do some haircuts and some fun stuff. And, you know, we made a nice day out of it. And from there, we just kind of exploded in the craziness in terms of what we do. But, you know, we're always trying to move it forward, no pun intended, to the movement. But I would say for you guys that are listening in or watching it, you can start small. I mean, if the cut-a-thon thing is your thing, even if it's something, whether it's an auction in-house to bring in new clients, whatever little thing that you can do, it's those tiny things that add up and make a big impact. And that's one of the important things about having these Davina salons together for the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation, is to say, hey, collectively, think about the dynamics, right? What did we say, Kurtis? There's about 5,000 Davina salons in North America. Yeah. They,
sorry, I was just having a problem with my mic.
That's okay. Yeah. So something like that. So when you look at the impact, 5,000 salons, if they all only raised, if they raised $1,000, which I think is something completely manageable. And I think with our help, we could definitely have it to where you could raise $1,000. I mean, that money is like ridiculous in terms of what could be done, for the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation or a charity in general. It just goes to show you that those little things make a huge difference. And
yeah, Davinas is not only just asking you to be a part of your community, but they of course are still partners and supporting the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation. So if they don't have a local charity they want to support too, contact Davinas. They'll put you in touch with how to donate to the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation. So.
Yeah, and we'll actually put the link up on our website, thesalonmovement.com, so you guys can see that. I think that's what Kurtis was going to say. Your mic is still out, but I'm a good lip reader now.
Well, I mute it when I'm typing. So, yeah, we'll send out a little stuff on our show notes and everything else to everybody else, and I'll have a link to be able to donate to the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation. And you're right, James. Every little bit helps. We've done anything from like 1,200 to a couple thousand. This year, we're going to be selling tickets for this event, so it's going to be $50, and most of everything else is going to be donated. So we're looking at hopefully getting up to about 4,000 or 5,000 this year, and then they're going to be using that money towards building planters for the local community fed members and just the community to be able to pick fresh organic produce and herbs.
That's really good. So, we had done our very first event for Earth Week before we were a part of Sustainable Beauty Week. And, we have a very organic and eco clientele. We were fortunate the very first year. We have 3 small kids. So we had a client that she's got a modified school bus. So she does like recycled arts and crafts and things like that. So our very first year was sort of very kid driven. We did it right in the parking lot of the salon. We have our own isolated parking lot. And, it started to expand from there. We do carry some handmade local products, so body oils and soaps and things like that. So from that point on, it kind of spread out. And that year where Davinas had the gap, where they decided to go from October to April, really gave us all that extra planning time to go ahead and, and kind of combine both events. And that's 3 years ago, we had our very first outdoor event at a local park. So we're on a pretty main street, but up the block, we have a train station which goes into Manhattan. It's a really accessible park. It's got a nice winding path. It's not too big, but it's got a nice corner focus. And, 3 years ago, we moved our, outdoor event to that particular location. And we had our handmade local vendors in. And, I brought a beekeeper in, obviously being the beehive, to do some programs and things. And, we kind of just kept expanding from that. So now we're up to, I think this year we're already up to 50 vendors altogether. We're kind of partitioning things a little bit to have a little bit of a farmer's market. So we reached out to 2 of our very large farmer's markets that are in off season, right? They don't start here until after Memorial Day, which is the end of May. So a lot of those vendors are kind of just sitting and waiting for the next event. So we'll have a farmer's market component. We have a separate handmade type thing where, whether it's body products, whether it's, jewelry and things like that, we have a bunch of handmade vendors in. We bring in a lot of our local eco groups. So our Habitat for Humanity types and Food and Water Watch and those things, more empowering and championing people to, do things for the environment. And we have live music all day, and we have a little food court set up. So we have a few local restaurants that we kind of make them put the eco organic twist on what they normally do, which is cool. And it's just a great way to get the community involved. The difficulty for us was, my running joke is, I'm a great event planner and a horrible fundraiser. So, the first 2 years that we did it, there's hard costs when you do an outdoor event, right? So insurances and the stage for the band, and I have to get a sound engineer to do it because we kind of took on this large event. So I would say to anyone out there that's looking to go beyond some of the basic fundraising, things like do they need a license for the raffle? Talk to your towns and see what they're able to help you with. We're fortunate because we plan ours through the town environmental commission. So that allows us to go under the town's master insurance policy, which basically saves me like $3,000 from the event. Crazy. But
yeah,
do a
one
little
thing to mention just on that too is, because we're going through the Young Entrepreneur Society, this is a good idea to also leverage organizations that you're part of, because they're a nonprofit. They have group insurance for events, and so if we put it through them, the whole event is also covered under their insurance. So for people looking at doing these kind of events, connect with local community nonprofit entrepreneurial groups, or like you said, James, your municipality, and see what you can get for that. Because doing an event and you have to pay $3,000 for insurance, like that's going to pretty much defeat the purpose.
Yeah, and that was sort of the point, right? Is that, here we were lucky if that was what we generated overall for the whole event without the hard costs. So something like that could basically make the event not work, which, like I said, we're pretty well seasoned at it. So use us as a resource. We'd be happy to help any of you navigate some of these nuts and bolts and paperwork type things. As a matter of fact, I even have a lot of stock letters to potential vendors and potential donors for things. I would say always ask. I was surprised, I guess, last year when I never went to our local bank and said, hey, would you consider donating? And they were all very happy to donate. And in some cases, they were willing to cover certain components of the event. So our particular event is marketed towards kids that can't drive. So I know it sounds funny, but I want them to have their parents take them. So we do a program with endangered birds from New Jersey. I have the live bees. We use a local kids band that, like a band school. So School of Rock, which if you guys haven't heard of it, is, it's basically like, it's like any other instrument lessons and things like that, except they're rockers. So they play electric guitars and do crazy things for little kids. But that brings the parents that bring those kids to the school into the event. Bringing the birds and things like that. People, for some reason, always love animals. There's an acting joke in there. But reality of it is, those are things. I post that, hey, at 11 o'clock, there's a bird show. And all of a sudden I have 1,000 people at the event just to see some of these endangered animals that they bring down. But the first year we paid. So I didn't realize that you could apply for a scholarship to have them donate to an event like this. That's a charity. So now last year I was able to save $300 off the event tab just by applying for a scholarship and having them donate their time with the animals.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I love the opportunity that this is, because it really gives you an opportunity to really leverage your full community. I recommend to everybody out there not to just do it in your own name, just with your salon name going forward. Try to get other people involved. Try to show that other people are together with you on this fundraiser to be able to for this local cause, and then just have an opportunity to really educate everyone that's involved. Plus, the larger your circle, the greater your leverage, if you can think of it that way. So your circle of impact gets massive. And I think it's really exciting. And if you think big on these events, you can really do something really cool and makes a really big impact. We started with something small for a few years and took a page out of James' book and tried to do it to the next level a little bit. And hopefully we can try to have something very similar with some vendors and stuff like that next year, and really deliver a holistic beauty message to the community and really expand it and its leverage. So good for you, James. I know that's a lot of work, and I know you've done these kind of events in the past, but having bands and vendors and organizing all these people and while you're running a salon, and you run the front end of your business. So, it's not like you're just sitting around on the sidelines and you only have one event a year to plan.
Yeah. And I would say, I can't keep resonating to to the fans and the people that are involved with the movement enough. I can't not do it. It's funny because this year when we started to plan for it, we sat down, and obviously with this new project that we're all working on and a bunch of events and doing the live video calls, I said to Angela, I said, I think, I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know if I have to do it. I'm kind of stuck in the middle, and I knew I would do it no matter what anyway. But, we are definitely a resource. If I could get, there's probably 5 or 6 little stupid things that I never thought of. And then all of a sudden you're on your go live date and there's 50 vendors and they have questions. And, no matter how much mapping I do of, hey, this is exactly your spot and things like that to get them to know where to go. There's just, you need people, you need bodies. Like I said, our staff has been awesome at these events. But make sure that you do have your staff, assign people positions and things to do, because the day of, once the clock flips and you're ready to go, there's just things you don't think about. I mean, we added walkie-talkies last year, for as stupid as it might sound, but even in the park, someone's on the other side, it's loud, there's a band, somebody has a question, you need restroom facilities. Like, there's just things that you may not think of just trying to add vendors and doing the scramble besides the day-to-day. Yeah. Well, yeah, it makes a difference. Well, here's a really funny story too, right? So I could have gotten like those porta potties donated on site for the event, but I went to the local restaurants because this is sort of the downtown area. So there were a bunch of restaurants, the local pizzeria and the ice cream place, and there's a Starbucks and things. And they weren't all, even though they were local, none of them were a great fit for an eco event. I mean, it's, unless the pizzeria is going to do round pizzas that look like an earth, it's not really.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I told them that, but they didn't bite on it. But so what I did was I said, listen, we're gonna have a lot of people at this event. Hopefully, it's going to continue to grow. Stay open, make it inviting on your side of the street, because people are going to want to venture out of the park for a break and things. And they asked them if they would allow their restroom facilities to be open. Hopefully, they would bring in some new clients. And the first year, I had a few of the smaller businesses kind of give me a hard time with it. And here I walked into the corporate Starbucks that's there, and I even sent a letter to management. I said, it's going to sound ridiculous what I'm requesting, but, I can't promise everyone's going to come in and buy anything, but I'm going to have a ton of traffic across the street. So they said, you know what, we're going to put extra hands on staff. And they did. And the line around the Starbucks all day, besides what we had food-wise and things like that, we had no coffee vendor, was ridiculous. So much so that the following year, Starbucks donated one of their organic coffees and set up a table at our event, even though they're literally right across the street. And they gave away free coffee for a donation to Sustainable Beauty Month. And, awesome. And it was just, sometimes the first time you go in.
Really good thing to touch on too is that, each year, start now. Don't wait till next year. Don't wait till your ideas build. Start, because that's how ideas come. That's how things grow. So each year, debrief on what you did. I write down everything that we did, make a couple little notes on things that maybe didn't generate as much buzz, didn't work out, little things that you think you'd remember. You're going to forget. You're busy. You're doing other ideas. Debrief, add to it, keep this momentum going, and 5 years will blink by, and all of a sudden you'll have this amazing self-generating event. It'll be great.
No, it's true. And I think what I would say, one of the things that we had a really hard time with, so last year we actually did models on site. So the park has a gazebo. I might have some images that Davinus had taken last year that I'll put up on the movement site, but we converted the gazebo outside into an outdoor hair salon. So we dropped the chandelier in. The new Essentials line had just been released then, so obviously it was appropriate for like a farmer's market type event to have it. I dropped the full retail section, salon chair, we presented 8 models that we brought up on stage for the event. We had a local clothes vendor, very bohemian style, that provided the clothes. I had Born Shoes, which a friend of ours runs the marketing department for Born Shoes. So they supplied the shoes, which are good for your feet and things like that. And it was good, but we came back from the event, and I can't tell you how many people in town were like, wow, that was a great event. I think we had close to 3,000 people last year at our fair.
Holy crap.
Which is crazy. And
That's huge. I just
Wow.
can't even believe that.
but the funny thing was, I had people that came in or people that I ran across in town and said, wow, that was a great event. And they had no idea that we basically run the event. So,
Right.
you tread that fine line of saying, hey, for the greater good of the cause and still keeping the hair component and your salon. It's good to have the local businesses, but if you're going to do all the work, use us as a resource, because I feel like I hit that the hard way a few times and making it resonate that, oh, why did the hair salon do this event? It's like, first of all, we're the only green business in town.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't know, like
that's a good point. And I think it's going to talk to Anna's comment / question, is that's Anna from Body to Soul Salon, is that there is sometimes it's difficult to communicate to your community what your environmental stance is. And we're going to talk about that in another call, I'm sure, because there's lots of resources with regards to communicating your eco stance to the community, including Green Circle Salons. It's a great resource. But what are some ideas from both you guys, and I'll add in some stuff of how you can communicate to your community about your events and marketing it and getting people involved and getting the word out. And of course, highlighting that it is something that your salon put on for Davina Sustainability Month.
Yeah, I think, local coffee shops for sure. They all have bulletin boards. Get them out there. Put some of your cards up. Bring some tacks with you. They're often crammed with a bunch of stuff. Make some room. Pop it on the board. Another great thing for us too is just having a little postcard made up ahead of time. That way when my clients were in the salon, they were leaving with this postcard, taking it back to their office. We're downtown, so we've got a lot of business professionals in our area. And they were able to bring that back, throw it on their desk or in their lunchroom. And it was another way for them to say, hey guys, I've been telling you to check out this salon. Now they're doing this great thing. What better time to do it than now? Especially when they already have some personal recommendations from their coworkers. So that was something that I remembered being a good builder for us. Other than the papers and TV and radio, like we discussed before. James, do you have any other?
Yeah, and it's funny, and I don't know if it's just old school business wise in my brain, but sometimes I love the postcard idea for your clients to have a takeaway. I can't tell you how many times we have something going on and we're so entrenched in it day to day from the salon end that, we're working on so many things that we almost assume that everybody knows that we do this event. So, for the shelf talkers and those things, hopefully we're going to be able to make that as part of the resources of the movement when the calendar comes up. Make sure that your stylists know. I always assume that our girls know exactly what's going on in my brain, which they are probably way better off that they don't know the things going on in my brain. But make sure that they know so that they can mention it to their clients, because, let's be honest, especially here in the States, we have an election year coming up. It's a really crazy political landscape. It's like the last thing you want to talk about in your salons are politics and religion. And at least it gives you something for that client that may not have too much to say. It gives you a good talking point. So, use it to your advantage. This year, we're actually going to be using your hair assistant as part of our focus for our outdoor event. So that's what we're going to stage with. Last year, we staged with the new essentials. So it's going to give us an excuse to not only talk about the new product line, but to have it incorporated into our event. We're also doing a heavy focus on using the blow dry as something to generate funds for the salon and to get information and things for clients. So we're actually going to do an outdoor hair salon this year. We're going to have your hair assistant as part of our whole outdoor setup. And we're going to do solar power supplemented blow dries outdoors at our event.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Ask me the Monday after to see if I could actually make it work. But something sort of like the whole blab thing with the technical issues. It's like sometimes you need to just get there and say, okay, is it something we can do or not? But we have a local tool company that's going to supply. They're going to donate the solar panels. It's a 6-panel system. It goes back to an inverter. It's a little out of my technical expertise. So while my wife will allow me to work on many things like painting fingernails or walls, I'm not allowed to touch plumbing or electric, so we'll see how it goes down. I've never heard of anybody electrocuted by trying to do solar-powered blow dries with solar panels, but unfortunately, it might be the first.
Break the way.
But that ties into to making sure that you put the hard work in, make sure that there is some type of hair component or salon presence at an event like this. The first outdoor event we did, we had a local woman that used recycled concrete and did air plants with these funky little planters. Air plants, if you guys don't know, are something that are really hard to kill. So they can survive in an office with very little light. They can survive on a salon wall, whatever the case is. And we thought that was a great way. So, we bought them in bulk for a really reduced price, and then we sold them with all proceeds to go towards the Fruit Tree Planting Foundation. So we had this really cool booth set up, and it had all the plants and things like that. And we had our brochures and business cards, and we sold out of the plants, and we were able to generate funds. But the people that were buying the plants thought we were a plant stand, not that we had very much to do with the hair industry or the hair salon in general. So by adding the gazebo the following year, we were a little off the beaten path from where the vendors are. So I couldn't move the gazebo, otherwise I would have. Now this year, after all the hard work, we're going to have a 20 by 30 tent set up. We're going to do the panels. We're going to make sure it's prevalent. I have a local solar person that installs solar panels that I'm going to give the booth right next to the salon booth so that I can divert any questions that don't have hair in them to the solar to him. And, and hopefully it actually makes us stand out a little bit, because we do work really hard to get the event to work, and we do bring all these great local businesses and people together. But definitely, like I said, use this as a resource.
Yeah, if you had selling the Davenus plants have been also really successful for us. So leading up to April, we've always asked people to bring in their empty containers. And then, a $2 succulent goes into the container with a little bit of dirt. Now we're selling them for $7 to $9. So, of course, all of the $7 to $9 are going to the cause. So those have been a really great way. So it is a unique thing in that it's a conditioner container. So that can link the hair salon representation that way. But maybe even having a sticker with your salon name on it and sticking it to the back of the container. We're also at our event doing the models that we have at our event will have some of the slow food ingredients incorporated into their hair in a tactful way, in a creative way. We'll be doing about 5 models that'll be representing Design House Salon in the event, as well as some canvases set up with some really inspirational inner beauty quotes around the room, right from Davide himself, the owner of Davenus. He created a really beautiful book about inner beauty and what that means to him. So we're going to take some of his quotes and make some canvas paintings and auction them off as well. So and if you have servers or something like that, if you're doing your event at a restaurant or in a big area, ask the servers if they have some extra time to show up to the salon ahead of time and get their hair done in a unique way, because of course they're talking to everybody at your event, and naturally people are going to be like, wow, what's in your hair? Or, who did your hair? Or, why is your hair so amazing? Make it, blow it up, make it obvious that it's extra done for this event, and that generates conversation too.
Yeah, that's an awesome point. I think that there's always, just by that little extra effort, by being able to make sure the other people that are there have the opportunity to look as good as they can look, and it definitely resonates. I mean, that's a great point, and that's something you should all should all take from this. Definitely, is if you do any event, whether it's Sustainable Beauty Month or not, if there's an opportunity to make sure you get your hands in everybody's hair, especially if they're going to be behind a booth or they're going to be somewhere, you don't miss the opportunity, because they're going to talk to a lot more people. Yeah.
Maybe a couple other. Go ahead.
I just said they like to talk. Servers, that's their job. They talk, so it'll generate conversation.
Yeah, maybe a couple other things too is if you have an ongoing event and it's ongoing throughout the year, make sure to put a section in your website that says, sustainable beauty events, or even just sustainability initiatives, and then have one section be events, and then you can keep an ongoing log, or even just a link to the blog post of the things that you're doing, so that way when people do come onto your website, they can see that you are engaged in the community and engaged in sustainability events.
Not to mention, to blog about it on your website is an everlasting Google review. So that will constantly be showing up on Google and get you some ratings. So it's really good to document this and other events that you're doing all the time on your website.
And also make sure on your blog to put the links of the businesses that are going to be involved with you or supporting you. So that's like silent auction supporters, or in our case, some of the restaurants are going to be presenting, or the venue partnerships, or even in your case, James, maybe the city. Those all act as backlinks. So not only does it help that other organization, but it also, when they read SEO, it shows that people are coming to your blog, they're clicking through, and they're getting other resources. So you'll get better SEO points for that. But also ask those individuals to share, or those local businesses to share your posts and information on social media. Thank them on social media for the things that they donated. Maybe put a picture, put the amounts that they did. Do it multiple times. Like they donated it for the event. Here's a picture of it at the event. Thank you again. And it went for this amount. If it's inappropriate to mention it, and just keep that communication up, because they'll remember that for next year, and they'll want to support businesses that they had the most exposure from. And when they choose, and because you're a business too that probably does silent auction items for events, if you really get good feedback from helping a certain event, or again you get clients in afterwards, then you're more likely to support them. And when you pick up your silent auction item, grab cards from them right away and just say, you know what, can I get 10 or 12 cards? I want to put some on the silent auction item table, and I'm going to put them in my pocket. I'm going to keep them for a week before and after the event, and just hand them out to people as you can think of them, and say, you know what, I had this great cup of coffee, and here's a card for Habit Coffee. They're going to be supporting a silent auction component of our event, things like that. It's fun.
Yeah.
We also have local media personalities that are clients, so leverage them. Send out an invite. Let them know that we really appreciate your local support of events, and you being a great client of ours. Here's a free ticket. If you can let people know about what's going on with us, that would be amazing. So we've done that this year. Also, at your event, make sure that you have something that communicates your environmental stance. So if it's an event where there could be a booth, have a booth, and have something where you have maybe a poster that you can display your environmental initiatives, a list of them. Ask Green Circle Salons to give you all your stats from what you've recycled so far. They might even be able to do up a poster for you that they print on their own dime for that, and then afterwards you can put that up in your salon washroom or on the wall somewhere else where people have a time to be able to actually take a look, and you can communicate that.
Don't forget to get Green Circle to mail us out some of their recycling bins for our event, Kurtis, and Green Circle. I know you're listening, so before I forget, we really need to get those mailed to the island so we can have those in 2 weeks. Yeah,
that's a great idea. I would say too is don't the way the online strategy works now is that you're always ranked on a mix of what you do. I know I didn't realize how many online resources there were to list my event on calendars. So if you type in your local area and say, events, local events and things, and put in your zip code, all of those websites that pop up, majority of them are free, especially if you're hosting a free event. So I know you guys are doing an event where there's a ticket price. Ours is a little bit different. Our vendors pay a table fee, which then goes to cover the cost and to go as the donation. But I know when we do a free event like that, we actually get to be listed on a bunch of different sites with no charge, which is really good. And
that's a great point.
Yeah, and don't sleep on the press release. As a matter of fact, Kurtis, we should put one of those up in the resources section of the movement. But
sure.
When Google and these internet search companies rank you, they rank you based on a mix, right? So videos and your website and your keywords are all going to count for something. But press releases are still one of those things that kind of defy the laws of everything internet because they're viewed as the press releasing them. So do a press release. It's really easy to do. I think there's a site, really stupid name too. It's like freepressrelease.com. So you can actually post it. And what happens is that hits the internet and that adds to your mix of your internet advertising, and it's zero cost. So, you put your event up there before to announce it. You put your, when you finish the event, whatever happened at the event, you can put a second press release and say, we were able to raise X amount of funds and things. But for something so super easy, don't sleep on it because it definitely adds to your social media mix.
That's a really good point. And if you're going to be selling tickets for your events, use something like Eventbrite, something like that also gets it out there for links and gets people clicking through. And any other companies that just have a calendar for events, your local tourism, any kind of events, concert listing places, just start mentioning people in social media and tagging them and saying, hey, we're doing this event. Or bring attention to other businesses through your social media channels, and that starts creating links. So, and of course, use Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest if you're into that.
Yeah, I would say, if anything, as we're ending the call, we've done these events before. So Design House, the Beehive, we've done them. You have a week before the month starts. There's a lot of really easy things that you can implement, but I would say don't be shy. Make sure you register with the salonmovement.com. We're going to send an email blast out in a few days just with some little easy ideas and some ways that you can capitalize on either using samples that you may have and some fun things that we've done for other events. But get involved in it. We're here as a resource, as we keep saying over and over again. We're definitely happy to help you and try to have you have a great event. We're here for you. I mean, we're a group of salons that are, this grassroots movement that it is. This is the prime example of how we can get together and make things work. But, learn from our mistakes. I mean, we're here to tell you too, these are things that we wish we would have done differently. And hopefully the guidance can help you have a really successful event.
Yeah, so I think that kind of covers most of it then. I guess the one thing I'll add is that Davines will be releasing some of this information and sending out some info, probably through distributors in most cases if it's going to be in Canada. It could be directly if you're in the United States. And I'm not sure about the rest of the world. It might be going through Italy. But they are going to make a commitment to highlighting members' initiatives on social media. And there's going to be some posters out with the hashtag this year, SB Month 2016. Is that right?
That's it.
Yeah.
So we'll put that on the bottom. And in our show notes and all the stuff that we send out to the movement and on our website, we'll be putting some of the guidance from last year for what Davines had put out for ideas with regards to sustainable beauty events. And I think that's it. That's all I've got.
Yeah, that's good. I think what we'll do this year too, Kurtis, is because your event is so early and ours is so late in the month, is we're going to try to keep really good tabs on these two events because they're kind of different. Like yours is geared more towards an adult crowd and kind of a little more contained. Ours is more of an outdoor free-for-all to a degree, but we're going to do our best to keep really good tabs on this so that you guys can have a blueprint. Unfortunately, it takes months and months to plan these types of things. So it may be too late to do a big event, but don't do a big event if you haven't done it before. Gauge interest in your local market. Talk to your stylists and your staff. Do something. Don't wait.
You could even do something as simple as just, all of our deep conditioning treatments this month, all that, if it's $10 that you charge for it or $15, all those proceeds are going to be going to Earth Month, Sustainable Beauty Month. Just bring a focus that it is Earth Month and Sustainable Beauty Month. Exactly.
And I would say don't wait for your distributors to get information out to you. If I know Kurtis always loves to say that we're just a group and we're not experts, but I will tell you this, that if we're experts on anything, this is our month. This is what we do best and what we know in terms of getting the local community involved. Don't wait. Contact us. Let's see how we can help you do some things, because the clock goes really, really fast. And next thing you know, it's mid-April and you haven't done anything yet, but there's still plenty of time, and there's some really easy things that we can share with you guys to implement that you can get your staff behind, and it'll have an impact. And hopefully it's your starting point to build on to bigger and better events for years to come.
Awesome. Yeah, good point. So yeah, if you're looking for resources, come to us. Info at thesalonmovement.com or thesalonmovement.com. We will have sections for it. This will be on replay on the website under the education tab. And yeah, if you're just looking for things on the website and you want to find out more, just let us know, and then we'll start posting that information. So
sounds good. I hopefully you guys that are signed up, you'll definitely contact us, and even if you have an event scheduled, let us know what you have scheduled. The movement has been making a lot of moves. We have a lot of members that have been joining us, so we'd love to be able to spread that to our little group of people and let people know what you're up to, and we look forward to working with you.
Awesome.
Kurtis,
thanks everybody.
Kurtis, when's our next call?
So we're going to be doing 2 weeks from now.
We're going to be doing 2 weeks from now. We're going to try to catch up with you guys. There's a great seminar series. There's some things coming up in April, and we're gearing up to all be out in San Francisco in the beginning of May. There is a ton of Davines education events coming up. So we promise as soon as we can get a good link to the calendar, we're going to share it with you guys. But we definitely appreciate you tuning in and spread the word to the other people in your salon if they haven't joined yet. This is definitely one of those things that only moves as fast as how many people we have involved in it. But guys, great to see you. Listen, I'm getting psyched, man. I'm going to see you guys at the beginning of May. We're going to be back out in Cali.
Yeah, well, maybe even in the middle of April. We'll see if that works out.
That's it. Listen, don't come to my event though. You won't like it.
Yeah, right.
You'll get jealous. I mean,
yeah. Hey, I'm okay. I've got lots to learn.
That's it. But listen, it was great to have you guys on. Everybody that's with us, thank you so much. We'll see you in 2 weeks. You kids be good. I'll talk to you very soon.